Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely rethink a concept that literally affects every single aspect of our lives, and that is boundaries. Right? So often we hear that word, and we instantly picture this massive, heavy brick wall. We think it's about closing ourselves off, kind of being selfish, or just pushing people away. But what if we've had that completely wrong this whole time? Today, we're going through a core paradigm shift. We are going to learn exactly how to protect our precious energy without isolating ourselves from the people and the work that we absolutely love.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Just look at this incredibly powerful quote from Chiara Perezzini. A healthy boundary does not push people away. It creates the conditions for relationships to truly endure. I mean, really think about that for a second. When you set a boundary, you aren't actually rejecting someone. What you're really saying is, hey, I care enough about this relationship and about myself to not let things deteriorate. Because, well, without boundaries, relationships get totally out of whack. Silent resentment just builds and builds until it erupts, or it causes this permanent, unbridgeable distance. Healthy boundaries are actually the very thing that keeps your connections alive.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can completely reframe the visual. Instead of a solid wall, I want you to visualize a dynamic, active energy filtering system, kind of like water flowing cleanly through a well-structured channel. You see, every single relationship you have involves a flow of energy. Some interactions just give you life, right? They give you energy. And others, well, they drain it right out of you. Your boundaries are simply the filter that regulates this constant flow. They allow the good stuff in while keeping the exhausting, draining stuff out.
And as you'll see, there is a super stark contrast between these two states. Over on the left side, having no boundaries might feel like you're being helpful, but what actually happens is your energy gets completely scattered in a million directions. It just leads to progressive, silent exhaustion. You end up offering, honestly, pretty low quality availability. But look at the right side. With healthy boundaries, you offer full, sustainable presence. Your energy is highly intentional, and it gives you the space to actually recover on a regular basis, so you can show up as your absolute best self day after day.
Section 1. Recognizing missing boundaries before it's too late.
You know, crossed boundaries rarely announce themselves with blaring alarms, right? Instead, they give off these very subtle, silent signals. So I want to hold up a mirror for a second and just ask you two direct questions. First, think about your professional life. Have there been times recently where you said yes to a project or a meeting that internally was just screaming no? And second, in your personal life, is there someone whose conversations regularly leave you feeling completely exhausted? If you're sitting there nodding your head right now, well, your boundaries are leaking. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where we need to focus. To fix those leaks, we actually have to build filters across 6 distinct areas of our lives. Number 1 is physical. This is about protecting your personal space and your actual body. Number 2 is temporal. Look, your time is highly limited, so you have to define when you're truly available. Number 3 is emotional, basically stopping yourself from soaking up everyone else's stress like a sponge. Number 4 is cognitive, which means guarding your precious mental bandwidth for deep focus. Number 5 is value-based, defining what is absolutely non-negotiable to your integrity. And finally, number 6, digital, protecting your attention from the constant, endless erosion of notifications.
So, moving on to Section 2, the 3 traps that block boundaries. Why is this so hard to actually put this stuff into practice?
Well, here are the big 3 traps we fall into. First up, the fear of disappointing others. We constantly worry they'll feel rejected or get angry with us. But actually, research by Brené Brown shows that people who set clear boundaries are generally perceived as much more reliable. Funny how that works, right? Second, we feel guilt, kind of thinking boundaries are some sort of luxury or privilege. Let me tell you, they aren't. Energy is a critical resource, and if you don't protect it, you literally lose it. And third, simply not knowing how to say it. We stress about sounding rude. But just remember this, a boundary communicated with care is not an attack, it's just information.
That brings us to Section 3, the 4 pillars of sustainable boundaries, the science of happiness.
So, the crucial point here is that this whole framework relies heavily on our actual biological chemistry. Take a look at the left side. Notice how the absence of boundaries literally causes chronically elevated cortisol. When we feel like we have zero control, our stress hormones spike, leading to severe emotional inflammation. It's exhausting. But on the right side, establishing boundaries actually acts as a neurobiological regulator. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, it drops your cortisol levels, and it physically promotes bodily recovery and overall well-being. It's truly good for your health. Let's move to Section 4 and see how this builds into real life, the evening digital boundary and a 7-day experimental protocol.
Because our digital limits so directly impact our biological recovery, I've got a really simple 4-step experiment for you to try over the next week. Step 1. Choose your professional digital shutoff time, let's say 8 p.m. That means absolutely no work messages sent or checked after that time. Step 2. Communicate the choice. Keep it simple. Just tell people, hey, after 8 p.m., I'm unreachable. Call me if it's a genuine emergency. Step 3. Create a physical transition ritual. Dim the lights, maybe make a warm cup of tea, and physically step away from your screens. Your body desperately needs a physical signal that the workday is officially over. And step 4. Observe. Over the next 7 days, track how you wake up in the morning and just notice how remarkably few genuine emergencies actually happen after 8 p.m.
The reality is, boundaries are definitely not established in a single day. One boundary well maintained for a month is worth far, far more than 10 boundaries loudly declared and then completely ignored. So think about the one area of your life that drains you the absolute most. What is the single, urgent boundary you are going to commit to setting today? Thank you so much for exploring this explainer with us. Now it's time to go out there and build your filter.